Based on the title of this video, I'm assuming you guys are expecting a SAMMY VIRJI style drop. Yes, that's true. This is my 100th video on this channel, but more on that later in the video. We've made a little SAMMY VIRJI bouncy style drop. This is a highly requested video, so I wanted to make sure this was just right. And you already know what I'm going to say. To start with the drums. Right here we've got our kick. It's got a beautiful sort of sub that actually has a little bit of stereo. Originally, it is about yay long, with about yay amount of sub. That is way too much. Listen to what it sounds like with that amount of sub. Maybe you can't hear it, but it's a muddy mess. Especially seeing as the sub is actually off to the sides, and that's a horrible thing. You really want to keep your sub in mono. So we've cut that short, and really we just want to hear that kick shine in its sort of first little short bit of each beat. So soloing it out. Let's take a look at the spectrum. So we've enhanced the treble quite a lot because listen to Find My Way Home, Find My Way Home. Alright, so the kick has so much treble. So I just made this with a lot of treble. Then we put that into a compressor and we've just lowered the volume using a wave shaper a little bit. I like using wave shaper for reducing the volume because you're also compressing. It's a little bit of a clipper. As you can see, there's a bit of a curve, which is just, I guess my way to describe it is positive saturation. Don't know if that's a thing. Right, that's our kick. And to pair with that kick, I'm actually not going to go straight to the clap yet. I'm going to go to this SAMMY style percussion loop. Now, I handcrafted this for you guys, and honestly, this was the most difficult bit. First of all, finding a little perk that just sounded like the right kind of perk that Sam uses in his tracks is this little first bit here. Like, I don't know, it almost sounds like when you close your inventory in Minecraft. I don't know if that's the sound, but you hear what I'm saying? So that's a repeating element. And then there's a little bit of like a short cut off hat in the second bit here. Because like a hat like that right in front of another hat on the off grid. I mean, it just, don't overdo that though, because you know, that's groovy, but if you overdo it, it's way too obvious. And I think in Sammy's tracks, that off grid groove is almost like subtle, and it's mixed in so well. So that's the main thing. And then also we have a very low level hat that's hitting like every, you hear that? Every wow, I'm great with words today. So I'm just calling it off grid. But you see what I'm saying here, right? Layering that subtle low volume hat, we have a Indian percussive instrument loop onto that. It's like a bit of a bongo, but obviously we don't have any of the mids and lows and subs from the bongo because that wouldn't make any sense. And now to pair with that, I mean, this is the most fun part. When you've got this, you could put any hat you would like on the off beat. But I found this one to work quite well. It's not as invasive in the treble. Usually when I do hats, I make it super invasive in the treble. But in this case, you know, you might want to put some vocal really high up in the treble. So now we're heading on to the clap and the snare, which I've mixed together. Here's our clap. And here's our snare that we just really like lowered its volume of like by a truckload. Some people only use snares and some people only use claps. That kind of differentiates a lot. Also, completely forgot to mention, we're at 135 BPM. Very important. It's just a super exciting BPM. And when you mix a clap and a snare, most of the time there's going to be a shit ton of conflicting, how do you say, frequencies. The way I've combated that is I've lowered the snare quite a lot and I've lowered the clap, and then I've put it into a separate bus, and I'm using a Nani compression. You can use any kind of compression. You know why I can't open Nani on YouTube, and I just won't. So, but it's just a compressor and it's got some cool properties. I promise it's just properties. All right, so listen without that compression. You see how we're basically hitting higher level, and with Nani, we're hitting much lower levels, but it sounds louder. That's mixing. So that about sums up the drums. Once again, if I were you, just download this, make your own fantastical track with it. You can use all of the bass patterns I have added here, but obviously if you just use the drums, you can really be individual, make your own thing. But on that note, we are moving on to the bass line. Now the reason why I started with the drums is because I showed you how we established that off-grid pattern in the percussion loop. And that's important because this bass line is also following that off-grid pattern. As you can see, you know, this is a beat, that's a half beat, this, you know, and this is our off-grid. What's important is to kind of get a very basic bass line down. If I open an FL keys, right? How simple is that? You start with simple and see how it works, and then you make it interesting. I'm holding a mic only because I don't want to use a stand, because then I gotta sit, and I like standing. See how counterintuitive that is? Alright, so that's your pattern, music theory and shit. What about the actual preset? Celebrating the 100th video on this channel, I'm giving away this preset for free. It is actually part of my Metamorphosis pack. If you want to download the whole pack, it's got 50 presets just like this one. I think the main sort of idea behind my pack is to finally give you guys access to my library of presets I've been using over the years. I'm also giving away the sub that I'm using in this. Here's our sub. Very simple. Obviously we got sine waves, and we are modulating the drive on oscillator A and modulating the chorus pitch on oscillator A. That gives us that punch effect. I pretty much do this on all of my presets, because without that punch, yeah, it's a sub, but it's weak. There's different ways to make a sub stronger. First of all, you've got your go into here and then make some modifications to your table, so you can do that. That's actually pretty cool. We've got some simple distortion on that. I don't know why I have reverb on this, just turn that on. It's quite a fun sub, you know? As we've cut off the kick so short, we have so much like room to play around with how we want the sub to sound. Listen to the kick and sub together. That sounds clean. I can hear a little bit of like clashing between the sub and the bass, so maybe mess around with it a little bit. Alright, next up we've got this sample that's following the same key. It's sort of like chords with a little bit of effects on it. This is the fun bit. You can find a sample of any genre, any BPM, as long as it's possible to be time stretched. It's got to be a high quality sample, because low quality samples will start showing their artifacts when you time stretch them too much or even a little bit. And you can also change the key, but as you can see, I've actually used the key of this sample to base the bass line. So it's in the same key as the bass line. When you use a sample, make sure you cut off all of the bass and the sub. One thing I'm seeing in a lot of the tracks you guys are sending through, the sample itself will have a sub. You know, some sort of bass line that's playing in the sample. And that bass line may be conflicting with the bass line you're adding, even if it's in the same key. And now we're moving on to the bells and vocals. So first of all, here we go. Here's our bells. First layer is a serum preset from Splice with some reverb and delay on it. And layering that, we've got a fruity FL keys on E piano settings, a little bit modified, but just Rhodes basically. Sounds quite nice. With a little fruity convolve on there. I think the reverb is very clean, the FL reverb. It just sounds like how reverb should sound. But this almost sounds like echo in a room without the sound of delay. So it's not giving you feedback, it's more like a big room. And as I promised, here's our vocal. It's just a background element, so it's pretty much not useful. I'm using a little altar boy to pitch it up, 4 semitones. I think if you download this and you don't have a little altar boy, it will be out of key. So pitch it up 4 semitones. And then just an OTT to give some depth, make it sound less dry. OTT is my favorite thing to put on a vocal. Sure, it's not like the most clean effect, but it's a really cool effect. And then here is our EQ that's making it background. You can see my creative process here, just kind of fine-tuning bit by bit. So yeah, together with the sample, the vocal, and the bells sound like this. Yeah, pretty much, guys, that's it. Well, yes, as you can see, there's more to this video, but I just wanted to thank you right now for watching this video. And if you haven't already subscribed, make sure to do so, because the truth is, it means the world to me, and it shows me that there's a purpose to what I'm doing here on YouTube. It is my passion to kind of talk about music as I'm making it. And I find I learned so much by breaking down exactly what I've done and talking to you guys about it and hearing feedback as well. That's what the Discord is for. We talk about each other's music, we critique. I even react to your guys' music on YouTube if you send a link through on Discord. Let's talk about the fact that this is the 100th video on this channel. Quite frankly, I can't believe it. I think it went really fast. Reaching that milestone by itself, when I was on my 30th or 40th video, I thought it would be my dream to not have given up on YouTube by the time I reached 100 videos. And I thought it was going to be a milestone that was going to be, you know, insurmountable. I thought it was going to be extremely difficult to get to that point. And yet, here we are. We've made it to 100 videos. You have again and again told me that these videos mean a lot to you. And for that reason alone, I don't think I will ever stop making these videos, no matter the circumstances. You know, my laptop is in dire need of an upgrade in terms of battery, but I keep putting it off because it would mean I cannot use my laptop for about a week. And I'm pretty much working full time making these videos for you guys. So I gotta find the right time to do so. And there's 2 more videos I want to put out at least before I change the battery. But then also I'm, you know, traveling to see my family soon. So I might do it after I come back from seeing my family. So truly, YouTube feels like my 3rd place. Obviously, I've got the gym and a coffee shop, for example. But our generation is slowly building their online world as a 3rd place. And I know how, you know, quote unquote cringy that might sound, but as a creator, I'm sure you feel that way too, where you've built a platform where your friends, your family, and even your fans are all in one place. It's like your 3rd place, you know? If you're still watching this, that means that you're one of those people that keep this channel going. So once again, thank you so much. Cheers for 100 more videos. Next milestone, 200. Peace.